Elena Gilbert feels uneasy on the first day of school because a crow is watching her. It's staring at her like it wants to do terrible things to her, things I can't describe in a G-rated video. It's creepy, it's perverted, but it's still a better love story than Twilight.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
Starting at school this year is hot vampire Stefan Salvatore. Stefan just killed a rabbit because he couldn't control his vampire instincts. He feels terrible about it. He hates living in the shadows. As per usual for these books, the handsome, brooding stranger needs a girl to save him from his emotions. Elena is the queen of the school. She's blonde and beautiful. All the other girls wish they could be her. They can't. And all the guys want to date her, but she's not interested in boys except as trophies. She's our main character, but in any other book, Elena would be the villain. Elena's three friends are Meredith, the smart one, Bonnie, the goofy one, and Carolyn, the usurper, who openly declares she's gonna dethrone Elena. Yeah, whatever, Caroline. You're so not better than Elena. Stefan shows up in a Porsche, incredibly tight clothes, and a leather jacket. Elena instantly decides she has to have him, and she will later break up with her boyfriend, Matt. Sorry, Matt. Elena saw a hot stranger, so she can't date you anymore. Stefan goes to the admissions office, where he has trouble convincing the woman that he's a legitimate new student. Stefan lifts up his sunglasses, and the woman approves him. Either Stefan's using psychic vampire powers, or his eyes are just as gorgeous as the rest of him. Get this, Stefan walks past Elena in the hallway, and doesn't even glance at her! How terribly rude! How dare a new student not stare at the most popular girl at school? The history teacher is Mr. Tanner, a jerk who openly insults the students for not knowing the answers to his questions. It's the first day of school, Mr. Tanner. Give the students a break. Stefan is shocked by how much Elena looks like Catherine. He forces himself to ignore her, and tears burn in Elena's eyes. How could he look away when she was smiling at him? It's terrible. It's awful. Oh! She decides she's going to date him no matter what. Throughout the book, Stefan tries to forget his sad memories of Catherine. He first met her 500 years ago. She was a vampire, but she can stay out in the sunlight if she has a ring. Stefan and Catherine loved each other passionately, until his evil older brother Damon entered the picture. Damon stole Catherine away from Stefan! Because even in the 1400s, vampire love triangles were all the rage. Stefan and Damon forced Catherine to pick one of them as her husband. Catherine couldn't decide which guy she liked more, so she made them both into vampires. Predictably, this did not resolve the love triangle. Catherine then made another terrible decision. She killed herself by taking off her ring. The idea was that it would turn the brothers into best friends again, but it made them hate each other more than ever, and Stefan spent the next 500 years in hiding. That is a long time to hold a grudge. Elena plans to get close to Stefan by pretending she's a member of the school's welcoming committee. Stefan interrupts her speech and says he doesn't have time to talk right now. Elena is devastated, absolutely devastated. How could he be too busy to talk to her? Jeez, Elena, calm down. It's not that big a deal. High school is over and he's got somewhere else to be. That's pretty normal for high school kids. Elena is so upset at this public humiliation that she goes to the cemetery so she can sit by her parents' grave and complain about Stefan, because I'm sure her parents are in the afterlife just dying for the latest high school gossip. Elena's friends appear. They make a stupid plan to get Stefan to date Elena. First, they're going to give him the cold shoulder. She will pretend he doesn't exist. And then... No, wait, that's it. That's the entire plan. Elena will ignore Stefan. I have no idea how this plan is supposed to convince Stefan to date her. It sounds more like sour grapes than anything else. Either way, Elena's friends swear a blood oath to do whatever she wants in relation to Stefan. Stefan is watching them the whole time because he's creepy and just following her. I'm going to stare at you no matter what you do. It's creepy. There's some kind of power explosion behind him. The next thing he knows, he's feeding on a homeless man with no memory of how he got there. Stefan worries his vampire instincts are out of control. Homecoming is a month later. When Elena is picked as homecoming queen, she decides to finally make her move on Stefan. After all, he can't refuse to dance with the homecoming queen. That's a rule, right? Elena asks Stefan to dance. They look at each other, her heart pounds, and it's the most intense moment she's ever had with a boy. But oh no! Stefan already has a date! It's Caroline! Yes! Carolyn stole Elena's crush while Elena ignored him for a month. Carolyn, you villain! Elena is devastated, so she decides to hang out with some drunk kids named Tyler and Vicky at the cemetery. I don't know why high schoolers in this town love going to the cemetery so much. Tyler tries to force himself on Elena. A furious Stefan rescues Elena and beats Tyler to a pulp. Stefan takes Elena to his house, where she yells at him for being so distant. He confesses he avoids Elena because she reminds him of his dead girlfriend. The memories are so sad and painful. Elena respects that and gives Stefan his space. Just kidding. She starts making out with him. Meanwhile, Vicky is attacked at the cemetery. Stefan must be innocent. He has an alibi. He was making out with Elena at the time. Still, he worries he attacked Vicky. Elena cheers him up by making out with him again. And it's true love. At a Halloween planning meeting, a handsome stranger approaches Elena in the dark. He makes fun of her, and she is so attracted to him, she instinctively leans her head back so he can kiss her. Wow, so much for true love between Elena and Stefan, huh? She's got no problem trying to kiss total strangers. Oh, and someone steals Elena's diary. More about that in the next book. Mr. Tanner is supposed to play corpse at the school's haunted house. He doesn't want to do it until Stefan uses his psychic vampire powers to convince him. Not long after, they discover Mr. Tanner has been murdered. Tyler rounds up an angry mob to kill Stefan, but Stefan escapes. Elena sees Stefan eating a dove. That is legitimately terrifying, and it should bring an immediate end to their relationship, but of course it does not. Stefan confesses that he's a vampire. Elena realizes the handsome stranger is Damon, his evil brother. Damon is the murderer. He frames Stefan for murder out of spite. Damon used his psychic vampire powers to control Stefan and make it seem like he's totally out of control. Damon is also the creepy crow. Elena and Stefan pledge to be together no matter what. He sucks her blood from her neck. Gross. While she sucks blood from his throat. Ew, super gross! And does this mean she's a vampire now? Because that's how he became a vampire, but according to the next book, Elena's a totally normal human, not vampire at all. I know, we just got a lecture on how vampires work in this series, and I already need a refresher. It's confusing. Well, Stefan goes outside. He and Damon fight over Elena. Damon easily overpowers Stefan and leaves him for dead, even though he's already dead. The end. Post-book follow-up. The internet tells me that this book has a generic vampire storyline. I'm inclined to agree. If you paid me to write a typical high school vampire love story, it would not be much different from this book. In fact, my first impression was that this book is disturbingly similar to the awful Sweet Valley High vampire trilogy. I didn't like how both Elena and Stefan fall madly in love with each other without even talking to each other first. Love doesn't work like that, and I'm halfway convinced she only likes him because he's not interested in her. If not for the vampire stuff, she'd probably dump him after a month like all her other boyfriends, which leads me to my main problem with the book, Elena. Elena is a terrible main character. She is mean to everyone. She is incredibly selfish, and I have no idea why people like her. Plus, she starts off the book by over-exaggerating everything into a major disaster. It's hard for me to like a book when I hate the main character. Some people think Elena is a good role model because she's strong and determined. That's true, but there are also scenes where she almost kisses a total stranger for no reason, and she throws fits for dumb reasons. so her personality sometimes changes depending on what the scene requires. This book is definitely for teenagers, not children. Vampirism is a metaphor for certain adult activities, and the blood-sucking scenes are intense, as were the other scary scenes. Overall, I found the book to be scary with a mildly interesting story. I thought Stefan and his mysterious backstory was the best part, mainly because I thought Elena was awful and I didn't care for her parts at all. If they redid Elena's personality, I'd like the book much better. As it is, I'm halfway interested in seeing where the love triangle goes, even though I know she's going to end up with Stefan, who's not the evil one. I give Vampire Diaries number 1, The Awakening, a 6 out of 10.